I think we find ourselves in a very unique moment in time where we have a very interesting intersection between a technology like AI that is extremely capable, and on the other hand, a general population who has very little idea how any of this works, and probably more importantly, how this can be applied in the workforce. And I think that this is a unique opportunity for those that find themselves in the middle of this, where they understand how the technology works, understands how it could be put to work, but happen to be employed or work for people who don't understand how the technology works. And for those that find themselves in this middle ground, I think it's kind of a unique time to be doing a lot less work for the same amount of money. And I think that is worth having a conversation about today. One of my favorite quotes, which is often attributed to Bill Gates, but I don't know if he actually said it, is that I'll choose a lazy person to do a hard job because the lazy person will find an easy way to do that. And I think that's probably been true for quite a while in terms of technology, but I think it's especially true today with the kinds of AI tools that we have available. So we know that AI can be put to work in certain very distinct roles. So in terms of things like data categorization and automation of certain tasks, we know that there are tasks that can be exposed to AI now. But we're also going to remember that AI as a general public tool, which is using what we call like natural language processing, so the ability to type in words what we want as opposed to using code, is a fairly new concept. And because it's so new, people don't necessarily understand all the applications for it. And because the technology is continually growing at such a pace, it's very, very difficult to ever really put a full stop on it and to say we now know how AI can be used in the workplace, because it's just constantly changing, right? So anybody who is actually keeping an eye on it needs to keep a constant eye on it and constantly try and imagine how this can be used in my work, how it can be used within my company. And that is an almost Herculean task, right? That it just never ends, and you need a dedicated team who can actually figure this out. And in the meanwhile, you're going to have employees that are using ChatGPT or using similar AI tools, whether they are authorized or not to use this, and they are making their jobs a lot easier. And I believe that we should get paid for the outputs of our work, not just the hours that we spend there. So if we are able to perform the same outputs, then I guess we should get paid the same amount of money. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of people who are using AI on the stealth. They are basically performing the same amount of outputs for a lot less inputs. And I will leave the ethics out of it, so I won't go into the ethics of whether you should get paid the same amount of money for less work. And I'm sure around the world there are HR managers wringing their hands at this concept as we speak. But I think that for the most part, anyone who's using a computer in their job, who's using brain power in their job, there's probably opportunity for you to be using AI to make your life a hell of a lot easier. And I think that the danger and the real onus of responsibility actually sits with managers at the moment, because it is really up to the manager to keep up to date with how AI can be used within their particular job. And I think that is a absolutely, as I mentioned earlier, a Herculean task. I don't even know if it can be done. And because we're developing every single day, new technologies are coming out, this is going to just make it an ongoing performance. And I don't think that bosses will ever really win this one. I think right up until the point your job is made redundant, you're going to be able to find shortcuts, tools, technologies that can help you perform these kind of tasks. Just flip it around quickly. You can have a look at some of the little artworks around over here, little badges and stuff on my normal walk. But yeah, I think that it's going to be a very difficult task, and I think for anyone who's in a situation where they can do this kind of work and they can basically cut the amount of effort they need to apply, I'll just offer a word of caution that this may not be as great as it sounds. So you may be thinking, wow, my boss, he's never going to figure this out. You know, he's never going to be able to keep up to date. I'm always going to be one step ahead in terms of what AI can do. And um, even if they implement AI technology, I'm still going to be finding new ways to get around it. That may be true, right? And you may always be one step ahead of your boss, but just realize that you're also competing with your competitors, your other companies out there that do what you do, right? So even if your company never officially onboards AI, chances are your competitors are busy onboarding AI. And yeah, very soon you might find yourself without a company to work for. So that's definitely worth considering as well. And I guess the reason why I consider this to be something of the golden age for lazy people is because I think that a lot of the benefits that we as individuals, not necessarily as a company, but as individuals within that company, a lot of the benefits we are getting is actually coming without a cost. So, most AI tools that we use are actually free of charge. So things like ChatGPT, Perplexity, they are free of charge softwares, well, free of charge AIs, I should say. And it doesn't really seem to come at a cost. But what I would caution is that all of these activities that we are doing and everything that we are using AI to do, just remember that that is a step towards redundancy. Okay, and I think that a lot of us are under the impression that AI will never take away our job, right? So we may think, oh, you know what, maybe AI can do some of our job, but they're never going to do all of our job. But just remember that AI doesn't need to be able to do 100% of your job. It only needs to do 30% of your job for us to need 30% less of you, right? So if you are 10 people in a team all doing the same thing, and suddenly 30% of your job can be done by AI, the busy work that ChatGPT or Copilot, more to the point, keeps saying they're going to get rid of, then you're going to find yourself needing 30% less of you, right? Unless you can magically, as I kind of mentioned in the previous video, unless productivity increases actually start to increase the demand for that product that you're selling, well, you're probably not going to need as many of you at the end of it. So that's why I kind of see this as a golden age where we're getting all the benefit of AI with very little of the downside at this moment in time. And I'd be interested to come back to this video in a couple of years' time and see maybe how naive that was, and to see maybe the damage that AI adoption could actually do to the job market. Or maybe this is the beginning of a golden age forever, right? Where we're just going to do less and less work for the same amount of money and everyone's going to be happy. Let's see. I would like that to be the case, but I'm not so sure it will be. But I'll be very interested to hear from you down in the comments if you're using AI, if your bosses are on board with this, or if you agree that you're always going to be, well, your boss will always be playing catch up to the technology developments. Very interested to hear. If you like discussing AI and things like that in technology, please feel free to give a subscribe and a like. And I'll put a video up now to a link to my previous video, which chatted all about productivity increases and whether that's going to increase your wages or not. And until next time, see you soon. Cheers.